The growing challenges of urban mission around the world. Simplicity, a holistic urban ministry in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That and much more coming up next on Mission 360. Hello, I'm Gary Krause and welcome to Mission 360, a program where we look at what's happening with Adventist mission here and around the world. In recent years, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has increasingly focused on mission to the cities. According to the Global Health Observatory, 100 years ago, 2 out of every 10 people lived in urban areas. Today, it's more than 5 out of 10, and in a few years, the vast majority of people on this planet will be living in cities. Today we'll be talking with Dr. Gaspar Colon from Washington Adventist University and the Center for Metropolitan Ministry. We'll also be talking with Wes Via, who is leading Simplicity, an urban outreach project in Allentown, Pennsylvania, here in the United States. But before we meet our guests, several years ago, the Seventh-day Adventist Church chose several major cities for special prayer and holistic outreach. Let's join Gerson Santos, who's the director of the Global Mission Urban Center, as he introduces us to some of those cities.
Mission to the cities. This is probably the most important initiative the Seventh-day Adventist Church ever had. About 200 years ago, just 3% of the world population was living in the cities. Now we have more than half of the people in the world living in urban areas. In a couple of decades, we're going to have 3/4 of the whole population in the world living in those major cities. The Seventh-day Adventist Church decided to reach out to those urban areas. In each division around the world, one city was selected, and all over the world we have about 600 major cities that will be reached in a couple of years. Let's see some of those most challenging cities around the world.
One of the Mission to the City's urban areas is Lagos, Nigeria. A port city, Lagos is located on the southern coast of Nigeria, the largest city in the country and one of the largest on the continent of Africa. Lagos has an estimated population of 13 million people. The economic success of the city is attracting more people all the time, and Lagos continues to grow rapidly. Some place the population as high as 21 million. Yet, here, in one of the largest urban areas of the world, there are just about 100 Adventist churches in the city and only about 12,000 Adventist believers.
We know that God is here and God will give us the means and the ways and the courage and the wisdom about how to come about the whole program, and we are sure that by the end of this year and the years after, we will witness some miracles in this city because we want Lagos to be one for Christ Jesus.
Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, is also its largest city. Founded in the 9th century, today Prague is a mix of modern and historical. Although there are more than 1.4 million inhabitants in this city, you will find less than 10 Seventh-day Adventist churches and only about 700 Adventist members. That's a fraction of 1%.
One of the challenges for the church is to create a strategy of evangelistic work in the cities, which will focus on the context in which people live, where their needs are, where their injuries are, and where they need help.
Let's go across the ocean and look to another challenging urban area.
Built on the ruins of an Aztec city and what was once a lake, Mexico City has grown rapidly, and it's said that the city's population doubled between 1930 and 1950. Today, Mexico City is one of the world's largest cities with a greater metro population of 23.6 million people. There are nearly 54,000 Seventh-day Adventists and more than 200 churches. That's still less than 0.25% of the population. The city of Kinshasa is the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Here, Adventists are using unique ways, such as street music, to reach people in their community. Kinshasa has a population that is approaching 10 million people. There are about 8,000 Adventists and nearly 70 churches, less than 0.1%.
We'll continue meeting the cities in the second half of the program, but before we do, let's talk to Dr. Gaspar Colon about urban mission. Gaspar, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, you have been involved in urban mission for much of your life. It's been a passion. I know it's deep in your heart, something that is a priority for you. How did you first get involved in city ministry?
Well, we've been in city ministry now for 42 years, so almost 42 years. In the summer of 1971, my wife, the only one that I've ever had.
I thought you were going to say my current wife.
Well, she's my current wife. She was my fiancée back then. And we were assigned to an Adventist collegiate task force that was assigned to the Times Square area of New York City. And you think of the Times Square area as off Broadway and 42nd Street and the corruption that was there in that time. But there's a residential community between 8th Avenue and 11th Avenue on the west side of Manhattan, north of 42nd Street up to 50th Street, that was virtually untouched by the gospel and a lot of secularism, a lot of individuals who were new immigrants. And so we were asked to go into that area. There was already an established center for the church right on 46th Street between Broadway and 8th Avenue. And so we wanted to use that because it was a very centralized location. And we began to think, what programs, what ministries can we develop here in Times Square that those individuals on the other side of 8th Avenue would appreciate? And so we began to visit on the streets and determined that there was a lot of smoking that was taking place. The Surgeon General's report had come out, and there was a lot of interest in stopping smoking. There was also a lot of interest in nutrition, and we had done a lot of things with that in the area, but usually bringing people from the other boroughs of New York City to that location. But this was a community-based ministry that we wanted to start. And so with the hints that we had gotten from people on the street, we decided that at this center, right in the theater district of New York, a block and a half away from the thick of the residential community, that we would invite these people to come. And we advertised and we put signs in all the stores, and lo and behold, either one person would show up or nobody would show up. And we had church members who were just so loyal. They would sit there acting like they were smokers trying to quit. and it didn't take long for the guinea pig to realize that everybody else was role playing and that they were the target, and that was just the one person that would come. And we had to do something about that. And so so they wouldn't come because it wasn't their neighborhood, or? Well, they wouldn't come because the the city is segmented psychologically,
Right.
it seems, in areas that are residential, areas that are tourist centers. The average resident does not go shopping in the theater district because everything is expensive and there are no real grocery stores there.
Right.
Just fast food. And so the residents of the area just don't go there. They go to 8th Avenue, they take a bus, or they walk down to 42nd Street and take a train to wherever they want to go in the city. They come back to 8th Avenue and they go into their neighborhood. And so they would not have any interest in going to anything that is in the theater district.
So what did you do?
So what we wound up doing was going out into the community and trying to figure out if there was any way to cajole these people to come or to sweeten the pie, and that wasn't working. And so we decided to look for a storefront. We found a storefront on 43rd Street between 9th and 10th Avenues. It was on the lower part of the community itself, the southern part of the community itself, but it was easily reached by everybody in the community. And we started going to the schools and offering the science teachers in elementary and middle school, it was called junior high school back then, that we would come in and we would present a short film on smoking and health. We would talk about drugs. We would bring Smoking Sam, was a mannequin that we made smoke, and we got his glass lungs all dirty and would show the disgusting aspect of smoking. And as we got acquainted with all the kids in the community, we had an opportunity to get to the parents, because whenever we went shopping, whenever we were on the streets, they were calling their parents over and saying, these are the people who have been at our school and they have, you know, all sorts of ideas. But we didn't have a location quite yet established.
So you were living there among the people?
We were living, I was living at home and commuting in. I was living in the Bronx, and May Ellen, since we were not married, kept her distance, and she was at the New York Center, the place right there in the theater district that had, you know, different rooms for guests and things of that nature.
Dr. Colon, thank you for sharing with us just those interesting first years of your experience. Viewers at home, urban ministry has to be holistic, as Gaspar has shown here, where you don't expect people to come to you, but you go to them just like Jesus did. For more information on urban mission, please go to missiontothecities.org. And we'll be talking more right after this break. My guest is Wes Via, who is the director of Simplicity, which is an urban ministry project in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Wes, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Where is Allentown, Pennsylvania, for viewers who may not know?
Okay, Allentown's on the eastern side of Pennsylvania, about 40 minutes north of Philadelphia.
Okay, so what led you, a young person, to be involved in urban ministry in Allentown?
Well, the short version of the story is I've been doing Bible work, different ministry with in different capacities, and the Lord had actually taken me out of that and given me a break from that, and during that time He was really just kind of speaking to me about what ministry is and how we could be more effective in utilizing the tools that we have. And then when the time was right, I got a phone call, and it was just really amazing how the Lord opened this door, and they invited me to come and join this ministry in Pennsylvania.
Wonderful. Why the name Simplicity?
That, you know, I wish there was like a really great story for it, but there's not. It was just the night before the missionaries were arriving, and we needed how we were going to identify ourselves in the community. We came up with Simplicity, but once we had it, you know, even though it was random, the Lord really led. Ellen White says that when we enter the cities, we should do so in simplicity and faith. And we just really love the play on that we keep that in the forefront, to be simple in how we approach the people, but then kind of the fun wordplay of being simply city. That's our focus, is really focusing on how can we minister in the cities more effectively.
Okay, now you talked about missionaries. Tell me, how did you build your team? What is your team? Who is your team?
Okay. Our team is dynamic. It's changing all the time. Currently, we have 6 young adults on our team. We've had 10 or 11 over the last 18 months that we've been working. We recruit different ways. We go to conferences. Some people, young people from Pennsylvania Conference, heard about it, got involved. Through different youth organizations. We've worked with the NAD Youth has connected us with one of our missionaries actually from Mexico, so a foreign missionary here in the U.S., and just different ways the Lord leads and has built us a pretty effective team.
So they come together as volunteers to help with the project.
Yes.
So what are you learning? What are you learning about urban mission? How does it differ from, say, ministry out in the countryside? I mean, what are the principles that you're learning?
You know, the biggest thing that has struck me as we've been doing this is recognizing that a lot of times in North America we think of ministry in a very concrete way of there's the church, and when we come to evangelism, we're just going to do our standard kind of Bible work, maybe a little health stuff and a prophecy meeting, bring people into the church. It's very kind of like trying to draw people into us. When you hear people talk about going overseas, they're talking about going in, you know, really blending into the community, the people they're trying to reach. And that's really what it's taking. That's been the biggest epiphany to me, is that we have to continually seek to go to the people, to blend with them. When you get into the heart of the cities, we're talking about people that are very secular. The adults now are maybe second generation secular. No previous Christianity, no understanding of the Bible or you know, a good connotation of religion, and so it really is an unentered area right here in an entered country. And so the way we have to minister to them, we have to earn the right to talk to them about certain things. We have to earn their confidence. We have to earn their trust.
So you have a center which we would call a center of influence in the city. What sort of things are you doing from that center? Okay,
the center is really our base. We try to keep a heavy emphasis on door-to-door, getting to the people, you know, visiting them in their homes. In the center, though, we have a social worker that will help people apply for government benefits, help them see if they're qualified for those benefits, help them find food and clothes. We have small stashes of food and clothes, so in emergency situations we can meet that, and we try to connect them to other needs. We have a volunteer that comes in 3 days a week and helps people build resumes and do job searches. We do a lot of children's groups. We have 2 children's cooking classes running right now, 6-week cooking classes. We have 32 kids coming in now to learn how to cook healthy snacks for after school. We do 2 high school Bible study groups. We do 2 middle school, elementary Bible study groups in the evenings. We have church there that we're doing together. We have a Saturday morning brunch program for the kids where we teach them Bible stories and one of the 8 laws each week of health. And there's more, but that gives you a pretty good idea.
So how do you marry the spiritual with the physical? I mean, you're more than just a social work operation. You have a spiritual dimension. How do you balance that?
It's really about being intentional. Everything that we do explicitly for the purpose of representing the love of God to others. That is, in essence, Christ's method of ministry, was to show love, show compassion for the purpose of being able to tell them spiritual things. And so we ingrain that in our team. We talk about that often, that we want to be aware, we want to be looking for those opportunities when they open up, that we can tell someone about God and the love that He has for them, as we represent that to them in practical ways.
Now, there are some Adventist churches in Allentown, in various places. How are they supporting you?
In various ways. One of the big things that we're trying to be is an area where if an Adventist church wants to get involved in volunteerism in the community, which is a big thing for churches right now in North America to be involved in volunteerism, that there's an Adventist outlet where they can come and do that, so that we're connecting the effort that our church members are expending and being engaged in the community with ministry that's going to lead to souls knowing the truth for this time. So we provide opportunities for them to volunteer, obviously some financial support. They've helped us in numerous ways get the center up and going, door to door, lots of different stuff.
Fantastic. What's your website for people who want to find out more information?
The best website to go to is simplicitymissions.org.
Simplicitymissions.org.
Yes.
Wes, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Viewers at home, this is an exciting project, urban mission, holistic mission. Pray for Wes and the team. And if you want to find out more information, go to his website. And for information on Mission to the Cities in general, go to missiontothecities.org. And now we go back to Gerson Santos as we continue meeting the cities.
In addition to being the capital of Russia, Moscow is also a showcase for Russian culture, known for its museums and theaters. One of the most recognizable buildings in the world, St. Basil's Basilica dominates the view over Red Square, which is itself a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Moscow has a population of more than 16 million people. Adventists number less than 3,000, about 0.02% of the population, worshiping in 15 churches.
Not far from here, we have another city.
The capital and largest city in Ukraine, Kiev was named after its founder. A bustling city, Kiev is home to world-class art and architecture. There are some 3.2 million people living in Kiev, and just over 4,000 are Adventists. The capital of Angola, Luanda, was founded in the late 1500s by the Portuguese. Located on the Atlantic coast of Angola, Luanda has been rebuilding after years of civil war. Today, Luanda has a population of some 6 million people, with about 74,000 Adventists and more than 270 churches, about 1.25% of the city's population.
We have a great challenge in the large city of Luanda, which is the capital of Angola, because this is a city that is growing each day. It's growing in material things as well as in number of people. It's a city coming from the ruins of war, and everything is rapidly expanding. As everything grows, our challenge to reach people who don't know God also grows.
Sydney, Australia, is said to be one of the most visited cities in the world, attracting visitors from all over. One of the deepest harbors in the world, it is known for the Sydney Harbour Bridge and iconic sails of the Opera House. Sydney has a population of 4.7 million people, with about 9,000 Adventists worshipping in 85 churches and companies.
Let's jump to the other side of the world.
Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, is said to be the second largest metropolitan area in South America. First settled in the 1500s, today, Greater Buenos Aires has a population of some 14.5 million people. The Seventh-day Adventist Church has been growing here, with more than 160 churches and more than 22,000 members. Yet, that's still less than 0.2% of the population.
The main objective is to church plant in a place where the people are not receptive. I believe that we would not have reached the people here if it were not in this manner, through the center of influence, showing sympathy, meeting needs, and winning confidence. The objective for the future is that the center of influence will be self-sustained and that it will make other churches.
London is well known for its familiar sights and charm. This city is made up of 13.3 million people, making it one of the largest cities in Europe. The growing challenge of secularism makes reaching the people difficult. Among the millions of people who walk the streets, only 15,000 Adventists live in this European city. Home to some of the world's most populated cities, India is familiar with the urban landscape. The Mumbai metro region, formerly known as Bombay, is one of the largest metropolitan areas in India, with a population of 21.2 million people. In this area, there are about 11,000 Seventh-day Adventist members. This only scratches the surface of the total population. The challenges of prominent world religions are apparent in this region of the world.
It is amazing to see all those challenging urban areas all over the world. And I ask you, pray for those cities. What a beautiful thing it will be to see the gospel reaching out all those urban areas. Pray for the Lord so He can send workers. We can find ways to reach out those urban areas. If you want to learn more about this initiative, just go to the website missiontothecities.org and pray for the large cities of the world.
Thank you, Gerson, for sharing the challenges and opportunities in some of the largest cities in the world. For years, Christian mission focused on remote areas like islands and villages. But as the world's population has shifted from agriculture to industry and technology, the population has also shifted from rural to urban. So today's major cities are growing at a rapid rate. They represent millions of people in thousands of neighborhoods, and each neighborhood has its own unique character and people. In some you'll find luxury condos. In others you'll find immigrants struggling to make a living. Some are family neighborhoods, others have more single people. Mission to the Cities calls on us to find creative ways to touch all these lives with the gospel. If you live in a city, please find a way to be involved in positively touching someone's life for Jesus. Pray that God will show you how you can help. And if you'd like to learn more about Mission to the Cities, please visit our website at missiontothecities.org. And if you'd like to learn more about Adventist mission in general all around the world, just visit our website adventistmission.org. That's adventistmission.org. I'm Gary Krause. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you'll join us next time right here on Mission 360.